After you've signed in to Onshape, it will bring you to a page looking somewhat like this. So below, you will find your previous shapes, and above, you will find your most recent shapes. Today, I'm just going to show you one of my previous shapes. Okay, this is a shape that I worked on recently, and today I'm going to show you how to navigate something like this. Okay, in Onshape, how you get around this object is you use the right click on your mouse to go around it like this. And if you want to just pan, which means move the object without moving it three-dimensionally, you hold down Control and you hold down your right click and you move it around like this. And you can move it around like that or over here, wherever. And so that's an important thing. And if you want to zoom in on one place, you can hover your mouse over the place that you want to zoom in on. So in this case, I want to go in on this one dot here. I can hover over that and zoom in with my roller or the roller on your mouse, and you can zoom in on that point. But if I want to go over here in this point, I can zoom in and it'll zoom in there, which is pretty cool. So this is one of the most important parts of Onshape, is navigating it, because without that, you can't do any of the building that you'd need to do. Okay, and one more important thing is that when you hold down the right click to move around the object, if I want to move around this corner here, I hold down on that corner and I move. But if I want to move around this corner over here, I do that. So as you can see, there's variability with that. Okay, and over here, if you want to get back to your kind of original spot, you click isometric and it'll bring you here. And this cube up here is also important because you can click on the corners, bring you to the corners, click right, click top, here, back. So that's pretty cool. Okay, here is how you sketch things in Onshape. So to show you how to sketch things, I'm going to make a new document. So I go to Create, I go to Document, and I put in the name of my document. Sketch tutorial. Okay, so this looks kind of confusing, so I'm just going to delete or hide these other planes, which that's an important thing to know. You can hide them with these eyes here, and then also the origin or this plane too. And then if you want to go over something, click View Normal too, and that's a pretty important thing as well. Okay, so here's how you're going to sketch stuff, which is the way that you make things in Onshape. Okay, so you're going to go to Sketch, and you're going to click the plane that you want to sketch on, and you're going to see these shapes up here. Okay, that sounded weird. You're going to see these shapes up here all of a sudden, so they're going to appear. So I'm going to do a rectangle now, and there's a couple options here. There's center point rectangle or corner rectangle. I'm just going to do a center point rectangle, which means you need to a center point. Pretty self-explanatory, I guess, but you need a point to start from. So I'm going to start from the origin, and you basically just drag out, and it expands in the directions equally. Well, not every direction, but the opposite direction equally. So that looks good. And then what's another important part of this is that, see how these numbers are odd, or not odd, but they're not the ones that I want. So to change that, I'm gonna click this dimension tool up here, and this is gonna help me set a dimension to these. So over here, if I click on this and I drag it out, it'll show me the current dimension of this side, of the length of this shape. So if I click on that, I can change it to, say, 3 inches. Okay, and since Onshape is already set to inches in my case, I don't need to put the unit. But if I want this over here to be maybe 44 millimeters, so I go 44 and I say millimeters. Okay, So you put the unit if it's not already in Onshape. So that looks good for that. So to finish the sketch, you just click that check mark that was right there. And now I can't move that sketch anywhere. But let's add something to this. So let's do another sketch. Let's do a circle. So right now, let's do a center point circle, which again needs a center point to go around. So you can select the center point and drag out. Just like the other one, we're going to click this dimension tool. And instead of clicking a side, since circles don't have sides, you're going to click the edge, drag in, and here you'll see the current dimension of it. And I'm going to set this for 2 inches. Oh, actually, that's too big. Sorry. Let's do 1 inch. There. Okay, much better. And that's kind of how you do those 2 shapes. But then you can also do a line, which involves things like this. So this is a good way to do weird shapes like that. Or you can do what's called a corner rectangle, which starts at a corner and you drag out from that corner. So it's a little different from the center point rectangle I showed you earlier in that it starts at one corner instead of in the center of the rectangle. Okay, so now I've got myself a very weird shape here. And I'm going to use my isometric tool here. And so that's basically how you sketch things in Onshape. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to extrude things in Onshape, which is basically turning a 2-dimensional object, like this one, into a 3-dimensional one. Okay, in this case, I'm going to turn this rectangle into a rectangular prism. Okay, so after I've made this sketch, which if you remember from the last video, I make by selecting the sketch tool and drawing it. After that, I go to this extrude button here, and it's going to ask me to show which face I want to extrude. In this case, it's this rectangle. Okay, I'm going to go back to my isometric view, and basically you can control the size of it by dragging this arrow up or down. And so you can do that. So you can do it like that, or you can go to this depth. You can go to the depth right here and put in the number that you want. In this case, 3 inches. Now, when you're done with the extrusion, you can click the check mark. Okay, now that I've got this rectangular prism, I'm going to add to it by making another sketch. Okay, let's do normal 2. Select a sketch plane. Let's make a circle here. And let's do that. Okay. Let's set the dimension. Let's do 1 inch. Okay. Now that we've got a new sketch, we can extrude it. So we click the extrude button, click the object that we want to extrude, and as if you've noticed yet, you can there are different options when you are extruding something. So you can do new, add, remove, or intersect. And in this case, for this example, I'm going to show you removing it. So I want to remove a circle, a circular object, or I want to remove a cylinder from this rectangular prism. So you can do that by removing it. So using the remove tool. So I can drag it until it comes out the bottom, and now I've got this hole in my rectangular prism. And so this is how you would do that if you wanted to. So when I'm removing something and it doesn't matter how deep it is, I just find it's easiest to just drag it. Okay, and that's how you do that. And now I've got this rectangular prism with this cylindrical hole in the center. Okay, and I encourage you to go try this because at the beginning it can be a little hard to grasp sometimes, but once you get it, you'll catch on quickly. And this is where the fun and the magic of Onshape begins to kick in.